Back again.
Welcome back. Yes, welcome back to the Final Fantasy VII
He's
Remake.
back again, and about
Well
time to do. And this time, he's in the
Not yet. But yeah, let's try to get out of here.
Yeah, because at the minute I don't want to look at that hideous vein monster anymore.
Yeah, I've kind of had enough of being Hojo's lab assistant.
I wasn't talking about Hojo.
What are you talking about, Jova? It's always fun to give away personal data without your consent to evil corporations.
Honestly,
okay, so we're still stuck in this bloody labyrinth.
I don't know, Terry. If you do that, you might be forced by Apple to become the human centipede.
Friendly guy, but he has a hard time opening up to people.
Well, that makes two of us.
He's got your back though. Makes two of us.
Aw, they're bonding.
Well, we were talking about Wedge too.
Well, that's kind of the idea, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, box.
Let me just get
what's
this.
inside.
Again, it's the primary. Again, it's the primary
Ooh,
thing.
mega potions.
It's the primary thing that is, in my opinion, the big success of this remake. They managed to get both the world and the characters absolutely, completely right.
I'm gonna elaborate more for the final thoughts, but I do believe the fact that the dialogues feel more natural, quote unquote, strongly helps too.
For context, Dwibs and Shirai, after the whole...
Guys, Minecraft is a planet!
Dwibs, okay, run aborted because Dwibs have Minecraft. It's been fun, people. Pull it away,
I'm not the one my sister plays that, not me.
Sure, Dwibs.
It's true.
They all say that.
That's what they all say.
It's true.
Oh shit.
My mind's going down the
A
tubes.
sewer monster. Time for another monster that is being reskinned as a boss. One that should have showed up a bit earlier. Well, it did in the original game because it was one of the early monsters you can fight from the elevator.
I've already brought up the thingy. I've already brought up the dementia thing, so...
No, it's not that, Dwibs. But yes,
You know, think about it. Yuppie would totally be a Minecraft fan.
Also, there's a centipede for you.
It's more of a flying fish robot.
That's right, there's just one of these hanging out in
actually, I
Shinra.
forgot, it's called Swordipede.
Alright, so yeah, at times it can block your shots, so but mostly just do some magic on it. I mean, any kind of magic's fine.
Right.
I mean, despite the fact that it's a machine, for the time being it's not immediately weak to lightning, so but it's better if you just stick to magic. Or at least get close to its head.
Although it's more blocked around the tail area. If you manage to hit its head, it should go down normally. Well,
You know-
not go down exactly, but you know.
You know, leave it to Shinra to think up having a nice long swordfish-esque robot to climb up and down the tubes in case of an emergency like this.
Yes, Vedra?
In hard mode, this boss doesn't really have any. He damages a bit more, but that's about it. Really, there's not really any difference. The same strategy you use here will work as well. You just as long as you're well equipped and well leveled, you should be fine.
The thing is that this is a battle that tested basically all your characters that you will see in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I beat the boss for a second, but I didn't see the thing on the right-hand side saying you beat it.
Well, that's the thing, Dwibs. This is kind of a Nomura thing. Nomura loves boss battles that have cutscenes in between the bosses.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
I mean, it's a good job you don't lose health during cutscenes.
Yeah. Now, I argue this is actually the more challenging part of the fight, because the area is much more narrow and the boss takes advantage of that.
That and Tifa and Nerf aren't exactly as, per se, geared as well for this particular boss.
Wait, Spoonie? This is Spoonie now. Like,
actually, when I think Livewire, I think of that villainess of Superman's.
I thought there was a service called Livewire. Oh yeah, I picked the perfect spots to do slow-mo. Right as Tifa gets hit by the sword in heat.
But yeah. Like I said, this part of the boss is a bit tougher because Tifa with her fists and Aerith with her staff aren't exactly as, well equipped for dealing with this.
You have to use the ranged option for Aerith most of the time, and the boss constantly moves, so...
But no, you don't have to. But no, Dwibs, you don't have to worry about that. I don't think even in Kingdom Hearts 2 in boss cutscenes that happens anyway.
Why?
Well,
Kingdom Hearts 2 has the advantage also that most of the. Sorry, go on, Dwibs.
Well, it doesn't matter. Besides, I'm only really thinking of doing the rhythm game.
But
no, what I mean is that remember, Kingdom Hearts 2 was made by the same team that made this game. That's why I'm saying, you know, like even back when this team started doing these kinds of bosses, they never did that. So you don't have to.
And also, Kingdom Hearts 2 also implemented the QTD reaction command QTEs to spice things up during the more, you know, active cutscene portions of a battle. You know, to give also a bit of interactivity and, you know, just a bit of challenge to it as well.
So damn it, I managed to get me health back just in time.
Hey, Aerith, how are you guys doing over there?
I'm doing fine, it's just Tifa needs healing again.
The doggo is doing nothing!
This doggo has a name, you know.
Well, actually, I was the one who did the reference.
Yes, you
are.
Well, Pedro, this is the remake. Everyone's been recast.
There you go.
Then why are you doing Aerith in your even original voice anyway?
Well, you see, Pedro, I do Aerith's performance a little differently to compensate.
Not really.
It's like how when Christopher McQuarrie was brought back for Mission Impossible 6, even though that series typically changes directors, that film changed up its directing style.
Not for nothing.
There you go. And this beat also was in one of the trailers.
Okay, that is pretty badass. Not for nothing, Dwibs, your Aerith voice is pretty much... Okay, it is slightly different, but that's mainly because it's basically a more refined version.
That's a terrible one-liner, Aerith. Work on it.
Well, to be fair...
Well, Aerith was never known for her one-liners.
Yeah, Aerith is not exactly... She's not exactly the Schwarzenegger.
Okay, Hojo, stop creaming your pants, please.
So, this is what you're talking about.
Okay, like, dude...
I'm pretty sure he orgasms at every single.
Yes, because yes, Cloud, keep hitting that thing with your sword, and Barrett, you keep hitting that thing with your boot. I'm sure the door will go down eventually.
I guess in that beat, Cloud's brain just popped a cell because it was really whacking awkwardly.
I think it's just like Scarlet, where they just love their jobs too much.
What's Sephiroth doing here?
Well, to be fair to you, do you have a better idea for how to escape from that room?
Well, it was like it was like one of those rooms that open at an angle, like jamming the sword in the fissure and using that to open it wide would have been a better strategy. Like a team.
Okay, so we got the lift here.
Well,
Aerith said, yeah, Aerith, don't say that. You'll end up being a trap if you say that.
You say that, Aerith, but for all you know, and you realize that enemies can cloak themselves, right?
I verified there. If this lift is being operated by the man who held you hostage.
I forgot because I don't know completely the English version. Just like that sequence in Metal Gear Solid, where all the Clone Wars.
Remember, Dwibs. Aerith is very brave. She never really fears anything. She doesn't cower in face of fear, to be honest. So.
So just like Aerith didn't. Yeah. Except,
hold on. Pay attention to this. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's try it. Oh shit! Aerith, no!
Damn it, Aerith!
Kill Cloud!
Aerith? Okay, Dementors, where the fuck were you here? They nearly got squished than they weren't supposed to be.
Don't worry, Dwibs. She just made a cute face. Everything is fine.
At least we all did it together.
Imagine if
we're Avalanche heroes.
Yes. Imagine if Aerith had killed us.
Hey, that would cause a time paradox, and also...
Don't worry, Joe. As Dwibs would say, the Dementors would come in and revive Cloud.
Pedro, are you sure? Because they've been doing a right bang-up job of keeping the timeline straight.
Well, okay, like again, Dwibs, I kind of have something to say about this, just for this particular portion of the story, but I have to say this for the pods. God damn it, Red.
Cloud has protagonist immunity.
I actually do like that Red is even more of an asshole in this part of the story than he is in the original, because it does serve as a great contrast for when we get a reveal of who he truly is.
Not just that, at this point he literally just met the party. He's working with them just because their interests are aligned. He's not like this super body thing. Even before Barrett tried to a bit of friendship, but they were like, "Fuck this."
Like I said, the only real nitpick I have is that I still prefer Liam O'Brien's voice. Yes,
for the ever little bit amount of time that we heard.
Yes, I know. But
okay. Here's the thing. I actually know this from an interview. We actually have the blood trail in this game, but it's purple because censorship laws have changed in the meantime, and the entire team basically said this in an interview. They had to change it, otherwise the rating would have jumped to M for mature.
Wow.
It's a bit of a shame, to be honest.
That's kind of silly.
Remember, Teo, Ocarina of Time also got away with showing blood and gore and got it. That's because, Teo, the rating process at the time back in the late 90s was very different than it is today.
Well, to be fair, Pedro, didn't the remake of Ocarina of Time still have the blood as well?
How did you manage to get through the door with your head?
No, actually no, Joe. But even the original N64 game, in later revisions of the cartridge, changed it back to green.
Red 13 is a hologram.
Even back in the N64 release, Joe, they were already making revisions that removed.
Don't forget, Joe, but the insane amount of things that Crash to Insanity got away with a 3+.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that was
doesn't have red ink
2004,
for a
this is
reason.
2020.
No, the rating system was the ESRB was much more lenient back then.
Not gonna lie though.
Alright, here we go, time to catch up with the plot.
Not gonna lie though, it really doesn't make sense that they would censor of all things blood, and like, why not make it black blood at least? Like, say,
not just that, with this we're also saying it's basically Genova's blood. Why in the
at least it's
original,
not pink blood.
Why in the original it gave you the idea that it was Sephiroth having slain literally everyone on the floor, the Shinra employers, and it was their bloods. But no, here it's clearly Genova's.
So in this case, it's just Sephiroth being sloppy as he carries along.
Sephiroth must have. Yeah, okay. That's one thing about Sephiroth. He does not clean up after himself. The git.
Well, I guess he will give a decent job to the Shinra janitors. At least they have
also,
to do
yeah,
something
you can't go that way because.
69.
This is the floor that every true hero strives for.
So they built a building with 69 floors. So might as well go 70. No.
The 70s, I think the guy who designed this counts as the helipad.
The guy who designed this building was a jokester.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
It's not even like a case of superstition, like in The Rescuers, where Barney doesn't
He
like
just
13 stairs.
Alright, now we finally get to see that scene from the trailer in context.
Yeah.
That does remind me. I think if I recall correctly, in the original, we also saw bodies along the trail and path as well.
Someone's calling for help.
I want.
Also, thank you, Tifa, for letting me know where they.
Yes, you do. The guard
yeah,
is dead in front
I could go off and help them, but I just want to look around here for a
To Dwibs' credit, I did this too.
I did it too, but to be honest, I kind of find it baffling when you get to
Cloud wants a stone.
Do you mind, Mr. President? I'm trying to buy something.
There is a gameplay reason for this, but the point is that since the sequence of the late Shinra building has been rearranged, now we're having the two meetings with President Shinra combined.
The vending machine, you rude git.
We're gonna have the speech that in the original he did while heroes were captured.
Okay.
And Benny's death. Actually.
Okay, Mr. President. If you don't shut up while I'm trying to buy something from the vending machine, I'm gonna shove you off that building myself.
Anyway,
not just that, Dwibs. Cloud is actually spending money for the Shinra corporations to purchase this product. You should be proud of that.
I know, right? Anyway, like I was saying earlier, if I recall correctly, in the original, didn't we also see bodies of Shinra employees?
There is one, Joe, I was mentioning. The guard in front of your cell. It's the first thing that you notice after the door is open. But after that, there is a trail of blood until you get to the 69th floor, and then you see the corpse of President Shinra, and then Palmer shows up.
I could have sworn we saw other bodies, but maybe it was just...
No. It was actually one important bit, the fact that you couldn't count monsters, but the floor
I've
deserted.
Just shut up, I'll get there.
Okay, this bit.
Wow. The irony.
Well. Look what fine mess you've gotten yourself into.
How the
Just hanging out
tables have turned.
Pull me up.
Yeah.
I'll give you all the money.
Barrett is
always about the money.
Barrett is resisting every urge in his body to just drop him.
We don't want your damn money.
Wow. Is Barrett actually going to initiate what I think he's going to?
Thing is, I don't want your money.
Yeah.
Please.
Yep.
Wow. Talk about
You're not
being the bigger man.
You're not getting away that easy, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to kick your ass first, then we'll throw you over.
Just let me live. Everything you want can be yours.
I'm considering it.
I want you dead.
Dropping you from 7.
You know how I said I was gonna kill you last?
Yeah, I will bear it on this one.
Right.
Don't you?
Oh.
More than this right here. Talk to me again like you know me.
Oh.
Whee!
Oh boy.
He's just fucking with him now.
Okay, okay, I can understand Aerith, but Tifa, seriously? Like,
Tifa, this is the guy that ordered your
not just
village to
that,
be
not just
flattened.
that, context. Until I think at this point, the entire team is a bit knee in the deep with the killing of Shinra's soldiers and everything, and this is the biggest shitlords of all. I think it's a bit late to show a bit of compassion.
Tell them the truth about Avalanche.
Maybe it was just an instinctive reaction.
Possible.
That Avalanche
In hindsight, maybe we shouldn't have thrown him near to the exit there.
That is Avalanche, the filthy sewer rats who brought down a Goliath.
Yeah, and Barrett just lets him
Barrett.
search his desk. Never mind the fact that he's...
To be fair, Barrett is that cocky that would just think,
Yeah.
I've got this one.
That is what matters most to you. More than shutting down the reactors? Than the future of the planet itself?
Ooh.
How about both?
You're lying to yourself even now.
That is, he stole Scaramanga's golden
Yeah,
gun.
he has an actual golden gun. Jesus Christ.
Okay, okay, question, is the Mora a James Bond fan?
Hey.
Possible.
To be fair, guys, this is not the only Square Enix with the golden gun. Let's not forget Quiet Man.
You see, Mr. Wallace, like every good artist, I want to create a masterpiece once in my life. The death of Barrett Wallace. Death face to face.
Wait, he's...
I'm going to give you a chance.
A duel between titans, Mr. Wallace. My golden gun against your, whatever it is you have in your arm.
A machine gun. I think.
What about you, Mr.
No, remember, Miss
Or a
Shiro,
Gatling gun. Is that a Gatling gun?
Remember, Miss Shiro, I
Yeah.
cannot say which specific gun it is because I don't know what weapon the player will have equipped at this point.
Principles of for losers.
So I have to keep my words ambiguous, Miss Shiro, don't you see?
Which I cannot. There is no room for sentiment or guilt.
Actually, Mr. President, you're kind of lying because there's something that happened, off screen, but you're not mentioning it. Stab. So, for Dwibs Delight, this time the President doesn't die off screen. We get to see that happening.
Yay!
Okay, that's actually a neat improvement. I will give him that.
Oh, there's this black smoke thingy.
I guess it was to obscure the blood or the gore of it.
Ugh.
Well, remember, Jay, we're trying to keep this Peggy 12.
Yep. Oh,
and there
Barrett
it
died.
is.
There you go,
This is an Easter egg because in one of the original drafts, Barrett was supposed to die here. But get this. Nomura Sakaguchi and the team back then actually reasoned that killing Barrett at this point, relatively early in the game, would have felt a bit anticlimactic and a bit of a dick move. Never mind the fact that, Black Eye always dies first,
Yeah,
so we instead actually preferred to just keep him alive and give him a story arc in Coral.
Which worked out for the better, honestly.
It's it was only Sakaguchi too.
I forgot which specific member of the team, but it was like a collective decision, I think.
So yeah, turns out I called it. That Sephiroth would be physically interacting with
Well, we
him.
know.
Oh. That's because Joe, it wasn't Sephiroth.
I want to explain this.
Well,
all of a sudden now we're here.
Oh, where things get a bit trippy.
It's typical of JRPGs. That's
like there was like no build up or lead into this or anything. Suddenly, bam, we're facing a giant squid monster.
I will not.
Actually, Dwibs, it's Genova. Remember, Dwibs, in the original, the Sephiroth that you chase for most of the original game is actually Genova using part of its limbs to move around the world, and this is no exception.
But I'm pretty sure there was more build up in that.
Okay.
Just suddenly being warped to here.
Okay. Here's the thing. The Sephiroth you were chasing was sort of Sephiroth, but not really. Let me explain. It was mainly Genova, but sort of being telepathically controlled by the real Sephiroth. So technically, it was Sephiroth's will being carried out. It just wasn't him physically, which I assume to be the case here. That said, I would agree with you, though, that the whole sudden change of scenery thing, yeah, that doesn't make sense for this battle.
Oh shit, Bibs, you gotta finish this fast. Your DualShock 4 battery is low.
Oh no, what do I do? So what? Is it like in District 9? Did Sephiroth eat Genova against power?
No, Dwibs. But
can you believe I actually still have to see the movie?
That's for Advent Children, where you stuff Genova in your chest, and that's somehow into stuff.
Not even. I wish he was joking, but no.
Okay.
Okay, so in hard mode, this boss can be a bitch because later on it's gonna throw in a shit ton of tentacles, and you have to kill them all before, so that Genova Dreamweaver itself will become more vulnerable.
Oh, he does that. He does that here.
I know that.
It's just that later on the tentacles become much more, and I guess hard mode, makes them more of a pain.
It is.
Also, as is expected, we get a remix of the classic Genova battle theme, again with the dynamic theming going on between the phases.
Do love that, yeah. I will say this,
This is also a thing, a typical JRPG thing, where a lot of JRPGs during big important boss battles will change the background for climatic and dramatic purposes.
Okay. To Dwibs' credit, though, most other battles in this game haven't just randomly changed the scenery for no reason. Like, we still have taken...
The Wi-Fi is lost!
Dwibs, this part is killing your PS4 left and right, Jesus.
Yeah, I know, basically, that's a hidden gameplay mechanic, actually. Sephiroth knew that the players of this game would try and reach out to others for help. So he destroys the Wi-Fi connection, so you can't do that.
Oh, it's like the third demon in Pony Island. Adorable.
But yeah.
You see, as much as I rag on Tetsuya Nomura at times, I do give him a lot of credit in that he does speak of a lot of stuff.
Oh, he definitely does think of a lot of stuff.
The problem is that he overthinks stuff.
Yeah, that is his entire problem.
It's the embodiment of a thinking emoji. It's cute at first, but you want it dead soon enough.
Let me put it like this, Dwibs. They're polar opposites. Toriyama doesn't think anything whenever he writes. He just writes and he doesn't actually think about what he's writing. Nomura is the exact polar opposite. He overthinks the shit out of everything.
Pretty much.
Although, that poses an interesting question, though.
What?
You guys know that I couldn't really get into the first Kingdom Hearts, and yet I got into this just fine. Other than gameplay refinement in the 18 years between Kingdom Hearts and this game, I can't really explain how I can enjoy this game more.
Let me answer with another question, please. Oh, sorry, go on.
Let me put it like this, first. If you play Kingdom Hearts 2, you'll most likely really enjoy the gameplay. You just probably won't care much for the story, knowing your faces.
Well, please let me answer with a question. What is your relationship, quote unquote, in terms of growing up with how much you're attached to with Disney movies? Your attachment may actually hinder or amplify your enjoyment about the game.
I remember watching a lot of Disney movies on VHS when I was younger.
Because at the end of the day, despite Nomura trying these days to shoehorn in his own weird, bizarre time travel fan fiction into it. It's still, at the end of the day, Disney fan fiction, you know. So your enjoyment depends on the products involved with that, you know.
There's also the added effect that this game was actually made with a different intent. See, the thing people have to remember, this is the thing that people also need to start bringing up more, because I don't see enough people bring. People usually like to boil down no more to just Kingdom Hearts when he has made other things like World Ends With You, which is an incredible game, you know.
Yeah, now if only Square would do a better job reminding us that game existed. I mean, okay. Now to be fair,
he didn't direct that game, but he was the creative producer, helped write the story, not the script, the story, and the director Katsuya Kondo is his animation director for the Kingdom Hearts series. So basically, it was made by the Kingdom Hearts team, basically. So same thing with this game. Think of it like this, Dwibs. You know how Hino has out there plot twists in Layton, but he doesn't have it in his other IPs. It's the same thing. When Nomura writes Kingdom Hearts, he thinks it's different than his other stuff. Except for the ending of this, yeah.
Well, other than that, this game and Kingdom Hearts are both action RPGs.
Not just that.
There's also the fact
not just that,
that,
Pedro. Let's not forget Nomura's contributions to the 7 compilation. Like I said, I like Nomura, but he's sadly part of the reason that 7 kind of garnered a bit of a, I don't want to say full-out negative reputation, but you know, he's sort of the one who started to make stuff like, Aerith being all quaint and pure, or Sephiroth's sword being stupidly long, or Sephiroth becoming suddenly this grandiose...
I agree with you. That being said, Joe, but let's not absolve Kitase, because Kitase also carries a lot of the blame, because he's supposed to be the big man in charge of the whole thing.
Absolutely. Kitase is pretty much... go on.
Sorry, go on.
Kitase is pretty much like, you know, he is the man in charge. Like, he's supposed to be in charge of the creative control here and there. Like, if he had done his job, the 7 compilation would not have gotten out.
Here we go.
The compilation of Final 7 was actually his idea.
Okay. This is an interesting bit for the final part. You'll have boiling acid, as Batman Forever would put it, raining down on you.
Basically, as the music starts resembling much more the original,
love that.
Genova starts teleporting and having these huge area of attacks that are basically acid pools. Staying there at your own risk, dipshit.
Pretty much. Oh yeah. I absolutely love this remix of J-E-N-O-V-A, as the theme is called.
This soundtrack is basically a masterclass on how to remake an old soundtrack.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. You know, speaking of a 7 compilation, Dwibs and Short, for context, part of the reason people really did praise the characterization of this was because it was so refreshing to see the characters portrayed as they should have been, when the 7 compilation kinda messed with their characterizations a bit.
You brought this up before.
Anyway, but definitely though. I mean, don't get me wrong, the 7 compilation was absolutely a good idea, you know? More of 7? Bam! You've got people...
that's the thing, here's the thing. Well, I'm thinking the truth is in the middle once again.
Good idea, bad execution.
Each Final Fantasy has unless you were talking about a very specific one, like 6, I do believe each Final Fantasy has potential to tell future stories or even prequels. Like, the most egregious example is 10 with the story of Jack and Auron, but I'll elaborate more later.
I'll just
and it turns out it was Marco, you know, that guy that you met in the slums. He was a thing.
Oh yeah, that guy.
You.
Surprised to see me, Cloud.
Sorry, in this part it's supposed to be those chosen by the planet.
Sephiroth, what are you doing?
Yes,
Why are you
I get it, artist.
I used the cheat code.
You love the Pietà pose.
Wait, Tio, don't you get it? Sephiroth is Superman, and he's doing the famous Superman pose from Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That's Indiana Jones page.
There we go. Now it's time for the rest of the plot to catch up.
You're right. Sorry, I got the wrong theme.
yeah, Barrett's. Oh,
there you go.
Alive.
It's a Christmas
Nice of you to wake
miracle.
up.
So,
see, Dwibs, the Dementors did something well.
So
I
what?
got
He only
better.
died because if he ran out of if he had him in the boss fight, it would have been over in a minute.
The Dementor revived him. Well, remember, Dwibs, this was like Theo said. This is supposed to be a neat Easter egg for the hardcore fans that know
So
about.
the Dementors do in fact show up when it counts, then.
Yeah,
That's fine for those who know about that. But
supposedly, Shira, this is supposed to show that the Dementors do not pick a faction. They are just there to make sure shit sticks to the fan properly. But as Luis mentioned, Luis has mentioned so far, their job has been sloppy, and as we will see later on, it's about to get even worse.
And I will agree with Dwibs in this instance. It just feels like, for those of us who didn't know that little factoid, it just comes out as the shock value almost.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand
the thing
why
is,
they
most
chose...
people won't know that. That's the problem.
Why they chose to show that in the trailers?
Oh.
Like, I don't get it.
To shock people.
Yeah, they wanted to cause a reaction to.
Okay. Look. As much as I love this game, we can't deny that even this game did stoop to some of the usual advertising tricks, even if it sort of caused them to have to lie a bit. And
anyway,
look,
to finish quickly what I was saying before,
They didn't lie. They didn't technically lie. They just showed the scene out of context.
Well, okay.
Hang on a second.
More like they misconstrued, more or less.
But to finish quickly, unless we're talking about a really specific couple of titles like 6, I do believe there is potential to do spin-offs, sequels, and whatnot out of Final Fantasy titles. Again, the idea major will be regarding Braska, Jack, and Oron. Then you get stuff like Final Fantasy IV: The After Years, which starts with a good idea, but then just literally repeats the first game. Not even joking.
And then wasn't there another sequel to 4 that takes place after 4?
No.
Well, there was the complete collection had an interlude.
The interlude, but it's in between 1 and After Years, not
so an
after
interquel.
The After Years. Yeah, and it's very short anyway. But the point is, I do understand the idea of desiring more out of each chapter, if there is enough potential to expand the lore of a world and whatnot. But as we know, the compilation of Final Fantasy VII didn't do that much.
It's like
I don't know that. I haven't seen any of it.
It's like I said, it was a good idea. It had a very mixed execution. Some things like Crisis Core, and mind you, elements of Crisis Core, not even Crisis Core as a whole, were not bad, and it definitely has a lot of fans. And then you got stuff like Advent Children, which,
Advent Children complete.
Well, Dwibs, stick around and you'll see yourselves well enough. Anyway, in the meantime, see you for the next part.
See ya.
See ya.
So yeah.